Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm at Newberry. Just a brief intro. I'm in the career change program for adolescence education. I hope to be a high school teacher, preferably for English. I'm super excited to be in the semester with you guys and taking this class. Basically, the first artifact that I feel has influenced me to become a whole literate person and just in my literate development would have to be my parents. Obviously, they've been with me since I'm born, so they have influenced me a lot and put me in the right direction. One of the tools that my parents always used with me was the motivation side of things, and they would always push me and have some sort of incentive and some way to get me to read more and to understand more and push myself and ask questions. So, um, reading when I was younger, there would be some sort of maybe if I read 10 books, I would get 10 stars, and that would be some sort of baseball cards or something, but that wouldn't be the whole uh, idea of reading, obviously. There was more to it. So, um, basically, after reading, uh, my parents would ask me, give me 10 vocab words that you've learned that are new, that you couldn't pronounce before or you couldn't understand, and that you feel now you can use in a sentence. And going forward, this became, one of the key ways for me to become literate and my learning development. And, as I'm reflecting on this now, these are probably some strategies that I'm going to use when I'm teaching. So, not only that, um, I would say my parents were always influencing me to get pronunciations down. If I didn't say something right or didn't emphasize a letter in a word, they'd try and make me spell it out and be like, hey, like, you missed that letter, or. My next artifact is my boss, who I worked with at the Writing Center for 3 years, and his name is Tom Philippos. He's always been over my shoulder, looking out for me in terms of the way that I taught students how to write better. And, not only was he there for me to help with my teaching of writing, but also to help with my own writing. And the way Tom's always done that with my literacy is through the aspect of being strategic. And, writing is so broad and there's so many different aspects of it. And, fortunately, uh, this guy Tom is just a genius and had so many different strategies for every aspect of writing. Um, for example, reading out loud is probably one of the most important things that we've discussed. And, a lot of times students are writing papers and they have trouble, writing clear sentences, or they leave out words, and they've just got all these like typos that they can't really pick up on just because they're reading in their head. And, reading out loud, you not only do you hear it in your head, but you're hearing it aloud too. So it kind of helps you figure out which direction you're going to go in your sentence, and it just helps you fix errors basically. So not only does reading aloud help you in the writing aspect, but Tom's talked with me about the GRE, taking that to get into grad school, and the comprehension part, and that was where I really started to get better at reading. And uh, basically, you know, Tom would give me the whole spiel about, reading aloud and more importantly, taking things slow. And when you're reading and you take things slow, you start to really open up the sentence to get a real good idea of, where the author is going with things. So that's really been one of the ways that Tom's helped me with reading. So now when things are a little confusing and, or they have some high definitions in literacy, I just kind of take it slow, dissect it, and open it up and find the answer of what I'm looking for, and things should start to get real clear. So, being an English major in my undergrad, obviously I've taken just an abundance of English classes, and thus said, my third artifact is the St. John's faculty. And during my undergraduate, I started to read much differently. Um, Basically, my professors were constantly asking me to, you know, look at sentences and start posing problems, start asking questions. What does the author really mean? What are they? What point are they trying to get across? We would often talk about different aspects of reading and things to look for when you're reading. So there would be a lot of things like culture, uh, the background of the author, and uh, almost every class when we talked about the background of an author, it gave you a better insight about where the author was coming from, their time period, what their time period was like, why the author felt this way, and it just gave you a better understanding of the book, a little history lesson about what those times were like, and it just opens you up to the fact that culture, setting, time, all those things are important in understanding people, understanding reading, understanding what people are trying to say. So, yeah, I would have to say that the artifact that represents my literacy identity the most would be my parents, mainly because of the motivation aspect of it. And that's just something that I use today in literacy and everything else in life. So that's just what's made me uh, the best reader possible, is being motivated to figure out, what's going on in the text and just to motivate to get better at reading and everything. So